Ja Morant just continues to get better. After already having a tremendous season last year, it appears as if Ja has gotten even better this season than he was last. And if his early start is any indication of how he'll play for the rest of the season, Ja is in store for a special year. But quickly, before we get the video started, for those of you who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports, I make opinionative NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, hit that subscribe button, that like button, and that post notification bell. I also want to quickly mention that I recently started up an MMA channel, and if you guys are interested in that, the link will be in the description. But anyways, let's get into it. Ja Morant has always been a special player ever since he was drafted. He had a tremendous rookie season, he had an even better second season, and then his third season, which was last year, he made significant improvements, and that was his real breakout year. And I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, but whenever you have a young player, you want to see consistent improvement from that guy. They don't necessarily need to make significant improvements, but if they just make small improvements season after season and just slowly get better, eventually in 4 or 5 seasons, they're going to turn into a very special talent, or at the very least a very good talent, depending on their talent level. But when you're talking about a player the level of Ja Morant, I can't explain how impressive it is that he's been improving his game the way he has been. Because sometimes what happens when you're talking about players that are as talented as Ja Morant is maybe they have a really good rookie season, but then the season after that they improve slightly maybe, or don't improve at all, and they kind of just stagnate from there. The player that they were early on in the rookie season is the player that they're going to be for the rest of their career, or maybe even get worse. And the reason that is because that player is already playing at such a high level, it's difficult to improve their game further from there. And the more they play in the NBA and the more tape that other teams have on them, the more difficult it is to continue to play at that same high level and even get better. But with Ja Morant, he hasn't had an issue improving his game, because as I mentioned, he's done so season after season, and so far early on into this season, it seems like he's improving further from what he was last year, which is absolutely incredible considering last year was his real breakout season. Now, of course, it is extremely early on into the season, but the first 3 games he's played phenomenal, putting up 34, 49, and 20 points in his first 3 games respectively. And the thing about Ja is it's not only the stats. When you watch him out there, I feel like he looks even more special than his stats would suggest, although those statistics are obviously phenomenal. But what makes Ja great is not only is he a phenomenal scorer, specifically driving all the way to the basket, but he's also a phenomenal passer and playmaker, which just makes him personally that much more dangerous because the defense doesn't know what to focus on, either Ja Morant or the other players, because they know Ja's going to find them for open shots if they don't defend everybody. But also it helps his team win, of course, as they did have a very winning season last year. But that's something that Ja has had forever in his game, ever since he was drafted. But the one new wrinkle that Ja has added within his game has been that 3-point jump shot, because in the past that's been something that Ja has been struggling with tremendously throughout his career. He's always been that super athletic player that can drive all the way to the basket and finish with the best of him, either dunking over players or finishing around them with crafty layups, either with his left or right hand. But the big issue that Ja has had is he didn't really have that ability to shoot that 3-point jump shot. Now, of course, he can hit it here and there, but what I'm saying is he wasn't a consistent 3-point shooter. And this season so far, he's been shooting very well from that 3-point range. And the reason why that's significant, especially for a player that has a skill set of Ja Morant, is if he has that 3-point jump shot that the defense needs to respect, now they need to play up a little farther on him, giving Ja the ability to easily blow by whatever defenders on him and finish around the basket, or if they send a double or triple team, then he can kick out to a wide open teammate. Because considering in the past, Ja was already extremely good, averaging 27 points per game last season, while also dishing out 7 assists per game, just imagine how much better he's going to be this year with that 3-point jump shot within his game. And when I say he's adding that 3-point jump shot within his game, of course this season he's shooting 57% from deep, which is incredible, but of course that's not something that's sustainable. So if you can shoot anywhere from 36, 37, maybe even 38% from deep consistently, I think that's a very successful season for him, and that would tell me personally that Ja has worked on that 3-point jump shot tremendously, and he's gotten to a point where he's consistent with it. And if Ja continues to shoot that 3 ball as well as he has been so far early on into the season, I think he's going to be impossible to stop. stop. The big key for Ja going forward this season would just be to keep up the level of play that he's at now, and I'm not necessarily saying he has to put up 50 points every game, obviously not, but just the level of play that he's at right now, I would like to see him hold up for the rest of the season and in the playoffs as well. But if he's able to do that and stay healthy, which is also a huge key, like it would be for any player in the NBA, I can just see him having a special season this year, and his team, the Memphis Grizzlies, could also have a ton of success in the playoffs as well. But now, what are my expectations going forward for not only Ja, but also the Grizzlies? Now, starting with Ja, I feel like we basically know what we got out of him at this point. He's a generational type talent that in my mind is already a superstar type player at this point. But the great thing about him is he's also a guy that's continuously been improving his game season after season. He's already proved that ability. So going forward, I would expect him to continue on that trajectory. Now, I'm not necessarily expecting him to make significant improvements like he did from year 2 to year 3, which was last season, but I would expect him to continuously make smaller improvements to his game until eventually he gets to the point where he's just a legitimate superstar type player. And one specific thing that I would like to see is in the playoffs, Ja has certainly proven the ability to play well, but I would like to see him get a little bit farther with his Memphis Grizzlies team in the future as well. I guess that would be the next progression for him. But that experience that he got with the Grizzlies making the playoffs all those years, and especially last season after having expectations of going further, I do think that experience would certainly benefit Ja Morant significantly. But moving on to the Memphis Grizzlies, I would just expect them to improve as a team as well season after season. Now, I'm not necessarily saying they need to make the second seed or they need to make the first seed this season because they made the second seed last year, so improvement would be more wins at the second seed or maybe even the first seed. I'm not necessarily being nitpicky like that. That doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What I'm really looking for from the Grizzlies is just get a little further in the playoffs. If they're able to make it to the Western Conference Finals or even the NBA Finals or even win an NBA championship as young as their team is, that would be such a positive sign for the Grizzlies, not only now, but also going forward, as I said, considering they are so young. And typically when you talk about good young teams, there's a lot of optimism around that because if they're good now, just imagine how good they can be in 3, 4, 5 seasons when all those younger players develop. So overall, just to summarize, I have a ton of confidence and a ton of optimism in both Ja Morant, but also the Memphis Grizzlies going forward. And I think if Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies just continue to play the winning basketball that they have been playing over the past couple years, they would be headed in the right direction going forward long term. Because the best thing about the Grizzlies is it's not only Ja, they have a ton of other phenomenal young players on their roster as well, making them such a great team going forward. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Ja Morant is consistently getting better season after season, or do you not think so? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy it, check one of these 2 videos popping up now, and until the next time, peace out guys.